Hey everybody, welcome to Two Nerds and a Talk, the short version of our normal awesome. This is Robert and Ernie, the awesome brothers of awesome, even though we're not technically brothers.
Awesome Brothers of Awesome.
Yes, we're the awesome brothers. Did I use awesome too many times?
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
Kind of
man.
went all over the place.
Did I fail through on the awesomes?
Fail.
Oh, sorry. Today is about non-repetition, or repeating oneself in a non-secular way. We're going to talk about technology and the awesome that is that, because I'm going to use the word awesome too many times in this podcast today. That's my goal.
Oh, jeez.
If you can keep track, you can count the awesomes yourself and know that everybody knows you know how many awesomes are in this episode.
I think every time you use awesome, a bucket of slime falls on your head. How about that?
That works too. So today, technology. One of the things that we've seen an outpouring, outburst of in recent decades, but mostly the last couple of years, is would you consider it, and this is a nerd topic because the technology is everywhere, is there too much tech that is useless, or is it actually all useful and we're just not seeing it clearly? A lot of things are very cool, like they have the tables that have the screen on it that you can interact with.
The Surface.
The Surface. The new phones that are coming out with the virtual reality stuff are pretty cool and are functional. You have some stuff that you wanted to mention as well. But one of the things I wanted to get out there is the question of, is it useful or not? Is all this extra technology, all of it useful, or is there some of it's just out there it's kind of because it can be and are not really useful to further advance our society?
Well, I mean, the whole idea behind technology is definitely to advance. I mean, even roads are technology when you think about it. Anything not produced by nature, I would say, would be technology. Would you agree?
Well, that's a way to go about it, I suppose. I'm not sure I wholly buy into that, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I would like to think of myself as somewhat of into technology. I mean, I studied that in school, did computer science. I was always reading up on like the latest and greatest. I even went into telecommunications. I was deep into that about like how just a simple that leap that we made as a global community. We went from these telephone wires to cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're smartphones.
Right. Which I don't know how smart they in, but
Well, that's everyone's opinion. I mean, I totally get it. Smartphones to make people smarter.
Which is a good point, actually.
Yeah, the reliance on them.
The reliance on them is actually making people dumber because they aren't needing. Like for me, is a perfect example. But for me, it was a fix, which is I had no sense of direction. So for me, a GPS was a lifesaver. I would not have been able to do it. But if you're used to using yourself, but you don't as a map, if you will, then it's kind of you're now relying on that rather than yourself. And then when people lose the tech or don't have the tech, people are like, "Holy mackerel, what's going on?"
Right.
And that's part of the problem. Now, other areas that are interesting but slightly scary is our advances in AI. One of the things that's out there that some of my family members are all gaga over is the self-driving cars. And it's interesting, but it's like, okay, but if there's accidents and things can happen, who do you blame? How do you handle that? How is the financials of it? How is that safer? Is it safer really? What's that transition period going to look like? And if you have real drivers plus these AI drivers, who's in control? You fall asleep, you could get killed, and you'd never even know it. If you were awake while driving, then you would be, and then there's a whole bunch of issues around that. Boston actually is using an AI robot, and their robot's getting better and better. Is that an advantage? Are we using that for things? What does that mean? And it's also, of course, the toys for boys, or girls, the case may be, but the people with the money. Does it really help everybody, or is it helping the top 10%?
Well, one of the other things I've noticed is that we make these leaps in technology. Like, think about it. These these portable devices that we have now, like let's just say we don't even go cell phones. Let's just say we go with the drones.
Oh yeah, another one. Yep.
Oh my gosh, I could get a drone the size of my hand,
Mm-hmm.
and I could fly it probably a good, I don't know, mile and a quarter away with a 4K resolution camera.
Which
And
which is
it's
illegal, by the way.
it's amazing.
Yes, but it's illegal.
I mean, I now keep in mind, I know people that have the serious drones with the four propellers, and they like,
Mm-hmm. I've seen those. Yeah.
they have their tablet hooked up to the flight
Mm-hmm.
controls, and
Yep.
they fly it, and it uses GPS and everything,
Yep.
and I'm like, that is just amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it's very cool. But the problem is, again, illegal and legal is it's now a problem that they have to keep the laws or have the laws keep up with the tech, which is never a bad thing. But it's like no one ever looks at that aspect first. But I mean, I don't know if that's a negative thing or a positive, but they don't look at, okay, how is this going to affect people before they just make it? It's like technology for technology's sake is exciting,
Right.
but is it safe? Is it useful? Is it invasive? Is it
Well, that's the other thing.
protecting other people's privacy? I mean,
Like I would love to have one, but honestly, if it has a camera on it, I mean, curiosity, I'd be like, huh, I wonder if I fly it over these homes, what I'm going to see. Or let me fly it over, I don't know, in these buildings. What am I going to see? You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that, and that kind of worries me.
Right.
Because like I live in a
That's
building, and I could just imagine like just sitting there one day looking out, and I see a drone floating there. You know what I mean? Looking into my place.
well, worse than that is, and no one's done it yet, but they're thinking about it. Is drones with X-ray, with heat lamps, with heat lights,
Well,
with
we
heat
know the
cams.
military already has that. I
Right.
know that for a fact.
But that can get into. Well, we know they have
Commercial
it,
usage.
but commercials step away. I mean, heck, there's a USB stick. Get this, right? It's a USB stick, and it literally can destroy anything you put it into. It basically pulses electricity through it and basically burns out any electronic you plug this USB into.
A portable EMP, huh?
Basically, yeah. It uses its own electricity of the computer or device or whatever it is to burn it
Against
out.
itself. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, that's the dark side of tech, is that there's a lot of stuff out there that are interesting, that are cool, but they're a little dangerous, and you have to be kind of cognizant of what those things mean to our general, I mean, heck, they have a smartphone that you can get an infrared sensor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, where do you put the limit on it? Like what becomes practical? Like I think it's great that my phone has a flashlight on it too. I mean, do I really
Okay.
need to have the infrared feature?
No, but the flashlight's cool.
Yeah, flashlight's cool.
That's useful as much as anything is. I mean, you need a flashlight. I use the flashlight fairly regularly. I mean, yeah, I see that as a problem, but
It's kind of like the craze before we got to the smartphones. It was like the PDAs, remember?
oh god, those didn't
Yeah.
last very long.
No, and I knew that was a fad because I understood the need for them, but I'm like, you know what? We're only I said this to somebody. I said we're about 9 months away from somebody like putting a cell phone and a PDA together,
Mm-hmm.
and sure enough, it happened.
It's crazy. Well, I mean, and going back to the whole thing with the drones is, you know, there is laws out there, and there is some bans and people trying to ban the drone usage. But the problem is, though, there isn't bans and limited exemptions that are currently gone. They want real rules, and but the FAA is just going with bans, 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 and a lot of them are, kind of going as they go along, which again is the problem with a lot of the new tech that's out there is it safe? Is it not safe? How do you manage it? How do you understand it?
See, I'm not sure if I'm all for the ban. I'm
No.
in favor of the rules, like strict
Right.
regulations. Like you have to be 21 to purchase one. You can't operate it within like 100 yards of a school. You can't operate it within 100
when
feet.
Okay, well, here's the question, though. How are you going to enforce that?
Well, I mean, keep in mind if you're caught doing it, what the heck are you doing flying a drone around a school?
Well, true, but also it's going to it's also going to give you fines too.
Yeah, no, I'm all for the penalties. I'm just saying, excuse me, I'm just saying if you start trying to impose bans, that's when things get crazy.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But there's a lot of stuff out there. Like, all right, for example, there's a picture frame, okay, and it's called the slow frame, I believe it's called slow dance frame, okay, and it literally just makes whatever is on the other side of it look like it's going slower. It's a flashing mechanism, and why? Why? Why do we have this? What is the point of this? Now, if you're talking about how things move and the construct of microbiology, okay, fair enough.
Or if you're studying range of motion on something.
Yeah, I mean, again, not saying it's completely unuseful.
Right.
It's like, maybe, but it's never going to see any use in commercial life.
Yeah, it's yeah. Those are very specific.
Yeah, I mean,
niches.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, here's a broader one: Samsung Galaxy, the Galaxy Note 7.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw this.
They're melting.
Yes, they're catching on fire.
Yeah.
Come on now. Again, it's technology for technology's sake. Are we moving too fast? Are we not considering things before we go into them?
Well, I think that was just like a push to keep up with Apple. That's all that was. And I don't think...
again, that's part of it, though. You're pushing ahead to compete with the competition.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not innovating, then you're dying in that industry. My thing is, it's like, what I would have a question of would be like, I don't know, do they still sell laser pointers?
I have them. I have a laser pointer, but I don't use it. It's kind of pointless.
When those things came out, remember how, like, oh my gosh, cutting edge those were, and then they became like a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, like people like, oh no, if you have a laser pointer here at work, you're gonna get fired. You know what I mean? It was one of those. It got to that point.
It's ridiculous.
So it's like you said, if the technology is doing it for the sake of, okay, we're pushing the envelope and everything else. I mean, I'm all for it. For me, I guess, just as long as you put restrictions on it, and you're responsible with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, heck, let's look at entertainment now, and we're both guilty of this.
Who? Me?
You are guilty of this as well.
What do I do now? There's
technology that you could see a movie without having to pay for it.
Okay, I don't consider... Well, yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. So, I mean, the technology's out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's out there. It's just a matter of, what do you choose to use and if it benefits people or not. Oh, for example, and this is another boy toy, if you will. Again, not using the boy as a gender, but boy as in, you have a lot of money and nothing to do with it. The Sherpa 50. You heard of this one?
What is it?
It's Goal Zero Sherpa 50, and it is the lightest solar panel and recharger available on the market. And it'll give you, for 6 hours of sunlight, it will basically power a USB-connected cell phone for up to 50 hours. $250. It's about the size of a briefcase.
Is it usable? I mean, reusable?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I can see some applications for that. Now, what I thought was more interesting was the socks that charges your cell phone that
that's
they take.
Ridiculous.
Remember this story?
Yes, that's ridiculous.
The two sets of socks. There was the Netflix socks, and then there was the rechargeable socks. So the rechargeable socks was you pee on the sock, and it takes the uric acid creates a electric charge.
Who the hell is going to pee on their socks, though?
Well,
that's so gross.
Let's just say you're out hiking and your battery's out there. Your battery dies on you. You get hurt and you need it. You whip out the sock.
You pee on it.
You pee on the sock, it generates enough electric charge to charge up your cell phone.
You know what falls in that category? The 256 gigabyte, $900 USB SD card. That's what that falls into. That's the same category. Because I need 256 gigabytes on my SD card for $900. just as much I need to pee on my socks.
What about the Netflix socks?
That's even worse.
That's actually cool.
No, what I find
So,
kind of
so
cool.
you gotta tell them. You gotta tell the audience about the Netflix socks.
I don't remember. You can watch Netflix on your socks or tune Netflix or something. I don't remember anymore.
No, while you're watching Netflix, you put these socks on, and if you fall asleep, the socks will send a signal to your Netflix device to turn it off, so that way it doesn't keep playing.
Yeah, but I don't think it's real. I mean, is it out there?
It's prototypes have been made. I don't think anyone's actually gone to market with them, but the technology exists. I guess they could read your heart rate through the pulses in the bottom of your feet, and if it's low enough, they think you're asleep. It shuts off your streaming. I mean, because the last thing you want, I think, is for Netflix to continue going, and you end up watching some Adam Sandler Netflix movie, and then all of a sudden you got a whole bunch of Adam Sandler movies in your queue. All right. You're like,
up next, Adam Sandler, and you're like, what?
Why am I getting all this Adam Sandler love?
There's not that many movies that he made that were decent. So
all right, let's think about that. Adam Sandler movies that were decent: Wedding Singer,
fine.
Billy Madison.
No.
You didn't like Billy Madison?
Decent, it is not. Funny, yes. Decent, no.
Happy Gilmore.
Oh God, no.
Really? You didn't like Happy Gilmore either?
He has a guy with a really bad fake leg and an alligator and his grandma up in heaven.
Okay, that was all...
Seriously.
That was
awful.
That made it even funnier.
Funny, yes. Good, no. There's good funny, then there's Adam Sandler funny.
It's Rocky for golf.
Yeah. And a bad Rocky for golf.
Yes.
A horrible Rocky for golf.
And they even got Apollo Creed. That made it even funnier.
It's
and Bob
sad.
Barker.
Sad.
Remember
sad.
Bob Barker?
Yes,
I
remember.
For the fist fight?
Yes.
Oh, that was... The price is wrong, Bob. Trying to think of another decent Adam Sandler movie. Hold on, I'm going down the list of them. All right, so we did Wedding Singer. 50 First Dates?
Yeah, but it wasn't him that made the movie.
Oh, that's true.
I'm sorry. It was not him that made that movie good. It was our dear friend.
Drew Barrymore.
Yes. Drew Barrymore.
I think she and I are the same age.
Okay.
I think we're only days apart, I think. Birthday wise. Because you know how
How about Spanglish?
I didn't like it.
Okay. Fair enough.
I watched it and I was like, okay, this is neither funny nor romantic. It's actually really depressing.
How about you don't mess with a Zohan?
Oh, that was ridiculous. That actually had me laughing a few times. I was like, oh my gosh.
It's awful, but it was funny. It was funny. It was stupid, but it was funny. It was kind of weirdly heartwarming in some sort of way-ish.
Yeah.
But if you
John
look at his
and all those other guys,
if you look at his stuff, his body of works, it's like, dude, what are you thinking?
Well, keep in mind, he's at that point very similar to Kevin Smith. They make movies that they want to see. You know what I mean?
Which is sad.
Why is that sad? They still making money.
No,
Dude,
it's sad that these are the movies they want to see.
admittedly,
at least Kevin Smith's movies and some other people who are at that point where they can make their own movies, like a George Lucas or something. You're like, that's a cool movie. They have a cool idea for a movie and they make it because they want to see it. And it's like, yeah, I can get behind that concept. There's not a one of Adam Sandler's movies that I can say, oh, well, yeah, I can see where he's coming from with that. No.
How about Hotel Transylvania?
I got nothing for you on that.
My daughter loves that movie. It's actually enjoyable.
I'm sure it's fine, but
yeah,
we got off track. You realize that, right?
Hold on.
We're talking about technology. We moved over to Adam Sandler. How does that work?
Well, no, because remember, he signed a deal with Netflix that he makes all his movies for Netflix now.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize he made it. Well, thankfully, we can ignore him more on Netflix.
Well, the thing is that this has changed the way movies are done and TV shows.
Correct.
Now you can, instead of having a 2.5 hour long movie, sell your script to Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, and they'll give you a series.
Right. Right? No, that is a great way of doing it, and I think it is going to open up a lot of smaller productions of movies that we would not normally see, or
Right.
TV shows we would not see on network, that no one would pick up because they're due in the market or whatever. And people like Netflix or Hulu or whomever, Amazon Prime, for example, the White Tower, the Man in the White Tower,
Yes. Man in the High Castle or
High
whatever,
Castle, yeah, would never make it on network TV, not for a
or a
heartbeat.
movie.
Or yeah, wouldn't happen.
No.
But it works there. It works in that audience, and they get lots of people and lots of money and lots of good stuff. And kudos to them because they're helping small artists out. First off, which is fantastic, and it's really opening the market to smaller people, smaller groups that want to build nice movies that are real or good or have some deeper meaning to them, which is cool. I'm all for that. I'm all for small market fixes type stuff.
Well, also you have the flexibility to go to a place like Netflix, and they could actually say, okay, we gave this guy a shot, and we gave this guy a shot. It seems a lot more people are liking this stuff. Let's give
Mm-hmm.
this stuff to this. Whereas before, you'd have to go to a studio or many studios, and you'd have to be like, please give us a shot, and then they're like
Yeah.
giving, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like they're giving shots based on past work.
Right. Right. No, and that's a pain in the butt. That is definitely a pain in the butt. And again, I'm enjoying a lot of the series that we talked about this one already.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, great thing. And that's really cool.
Would have never seen the light of day in regular
No,
network.
no, not a chance. And it's funny
No.
because we were just talking about that today. How it seems to be just a mishmash of a conglomeration of all these other things that they just kind of pilfered from other movies and concepts. That the people who made them actually aren't even old enough to be alive during that time of year, during
Yeah.
that era. They were like little kids. So that's
Yeah.
kind of funny, and that's great. And those types of things are fantastic to watch and very well. All right, I won't say fantastic to watch because I wasn't a massive fan of the show. It was good. Nothing was bad. I just wasn't particularly my cup of tea. It was okay though. It was not horrible. I enjoyed it. I watched the whole thing. The ending was awesome. But again, it's one of those things that it kind of falls into that. It's good, not fantastic, but it's good.
Yeah. And it's okay. Not everything has to be, knocking your socks off. Like to this day, it's still hard for me to watch Arrow. It's
Yeah.
good,
Yeah,
but
it's not. Yeah.
it doesn't blow me away.
No, no. Yeah, and it's nice, subtle drama, but not. And I'm glad it's made it on network as long as it has. But at the same point, I'm kind of like, okay,
Yeah, let's
yeah,
see how far this could go.
yeah, it's fine.
And I
But
watched and I binge watched Supergirl. And keep in
oh
mind,
yeah, I just saw that came on Netflix. When did that come
yeah,
on? I just saw
it
that. Yeah, I'm gonna binge watch that too. How was it?
great show.
Is
It's
it okay?
yeah, and my thing is that had it not been for the ability to stream, I would have probably never watched this on regular network.
Agreed. Agreed. But in the regular network, I hate to say it, but it's true, is kind of dying. You know?
It's for the older market.
It is. A lot of things, if you think about, like, even like all these Fire Sticks,
Yes.
the USB plug and plays,
Yes.
it's like, what are you going to do? You don't need network anymore. You just don't. And it really is kind of interesting to see that kind of fading, what the future of that technology will be, the TV technology.
Well, I mean, I remember when Wi-Fi came out, and I was like, oh, it's only a matter of time before you Wi-Fi your TV.
Yeah, and we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
The I have to say it's also impacted my daughter. My daughter will never have to know the pain of having to like go to a store and get a movie or wait in the mail to have a movie arrive. She just goes on her iPad and she just pulls whatever she wants. Like
Hmm.
I remember growing up and I had to wait till Saturday mornings to watch cartoons.
Oh yeah.
And it was only on from 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning
Hmm.
till like 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Hmm.
That was it.
I remember that, yeah, and I always try to get up early enough to watch the first few cartoons, and I had to
Yep.
make the decision, am I going to get up early enough to watch these guys or not? Do I like them that much? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and then you have your afternoon sessions too, cartoons, same concept. It's just like, it's like, what are you going to do with it?
Monday
It's not
through
that way anymore.
Friday, Monday through Friday after school, it
Yep.
was G.I. Joe Transformers.
No, see, for me, it was a Disney afternoon.
See, I was past Disney at that point.
Well, yeah, you're older than me. Much older.
Yeah.
Much,
Well, plus,
much
I
older.
remember
Much.
when the Disney Channel first came out.
No,
I'm thinking, oh,
I'm
it's gonna
talking
be...
ABC Disney afternoon, not Disney Channel afternoon. I didn't have cable growing up. You may have had cable. I didn't have cable. I'm talking about the Gummy Bears, and I'm talking about
I remember those.
Yeah,
Darkwing Duck.
Gargoyles. That
Yeah,
Disney
Gargoyles,
afternoon.
yeah.
That's
I
what
remember
I'm
those.
talking to. I actually have the theme song for that on my playlist right now.
Well, that was the thing. Like, I was okay with some of the Disney characters, like Darkwing Duck, Scrooge McDuck, Rescue Rangers, stuff like that. That still played well, even though I was like 16, 17.
Well, yeah, you're older than me. We got that.
Yeah.
You're an old man.
But then, like, you had Gargoyles, you had Batman the Animated Series, you
Yes.
had all these other ones, these serious ones. And it was kind of like, I just remember, like, being a kid and wanting the more serious cartoons.
Oh, sure.
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
But again, I was younger than you, so I wasn't ready for the serious. I didn't need the serious. at that
Like,
point in time.
do you remember Thundar the Barbarian?
No.
How about Johnny Quest?
I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
Oh, my gosh.
But you remember, when were these on?
Well, they were on before I was around, too, but they would
Right.
play them in repeats. But they would play them, like, really early in the morning.
I
Like,
wasn't
those
getting.
would be-
Yeah, I wasn't getting up that early to watch that. No.
Those were the 6 a.m., 6:30
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah, I wasn't
those-
getting up for those.
And those were like, because like the rest of the cartoons that followed them weren't drawn like that. They didn't have the same feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Robotech. And I told you about the other one, Gotcha Man, which was Battle Beyond the Stars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like now I'm like seeing those cartoons. I'm able to pull them from streaming.
Right. Right.
And like now, like I could show my daughter these cartoons.
Yeah.
Whether
No.
or not she'll like them is another story. But
Of course. At least she has the opportunity to experience them.
yeah, I mean, just think about it. Just 4 or 5 years ago, if I told you let's watch Gotcha Man, we're going to have to like travel to find somebody who either has the DVDs or order it from some, mail order or something like that.
Ooh, mail order, like Brides, like movies.
Nice.
Well, okay, so everybody, you know how to get in touch with us as always. Big question, and want to hear the comments on this. What is the next piece of technology you've seen out there that you're excited about? Is there a good and bad technology, and what do you want to see streamed next? What is a movie or show you'd love to see streamed on any of the media sites? Something completely new and original, or something being redone, which we're also going to talk about. But those are kind of the things I'd like to hear from our audience. Please hit us up with those types of comments, and we'll be more than happy to answer those in the near future. Until then, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course us here at Glorious YouTube for Two Nerds and a Talk. This is Robert and Ernie saying have a great day.
Bye.